Welcome to another episode. Today is going to be a quick one, and I want you to hear this. It is okay to blame other people. You just don't want to stay there. Stick with me. I do this thing with clients that we call the blame game because we live in a society where it is encouraged. It's almost a form of social currency to be in this conversation of blaming and shaming others for the way that they've been or the way that they are. And what we do with the blame game is we integrate and embody that completely natural human response and move forward from it so that it can actually become a healthy, healed state for you, which will improve your entire reality. So, why do we blame? Why do we shift so quickly into that person has hurt me or done me wrong? They are now bad. Everyone focus on how they're bad. It's just a natural human response. It's a protective mechanism. We're animals at the core. And so when something hurts us or does us wrong or makes us feel awful or uncomfortable, it is totally natural to go into an energy of me against that person, me against them, everyone against them, to help me feel safe again, to help me feel seen again, to feel validated in what I just experienced with and from this person potentially. And this is great as long as we don't stay there. Because if we stay there, we just generate this huge echo chamber of that energy, which creates more experiences like it. I've heard a number of really great people in the self-development and spiritual world talk about blame. And one of them, I can't remember his name, it was probably 7 or 8 years ago, said it really well, and it always stuck with me. He said that the people who are the most enlightened know that first we blame others, then we blame ourselves. And eventually we realize that there was nothing to blame. And so we're going to get into this and break this down today because this is what I call the blame game. And this is how I take clients who come to me who have been stuck on things that happened to them years ago or months ago or weeks ago that are just completely engulfing everything that they do in their lives and keeping them stuck or keeping them sad. And we actually change that into getting out of that funky energy in minutes. So you can actually go on with your day, so you can go on with your life, so you can start to magnetize good experiences and long-term lasting happiness and peace and joy in your life. Because you can't get that from there. You can't get that from constantly being stuck on me against this person or people that hurt me. So we want to move on from step one. So step one is blame. Blame others. It is completely natural that you're going to blame others. How do we want to do this though? That's going to set us up for the next steps. What I teach is that we want to create a safe, healthy container to blame someone else. What does this look like? So instead of when the thing happened, or even if it happened years ago, and you're still going on and on about it in your head, or maybe out loud as well, we want to stop saying this to anyone and everyone. If we can stop saying it to anyone, that is ideal. However, sometimes we've got to get it out. So there's a number of strategies I create with clients to create that space, to be in that blame of others, to be in that animalistic response that is just trying to protect you and make you feel safe again, to make you feel grounded, like it's okay to move forward. And we can cultivate that. And so, of course, having coaches, mentors, people that are trusted, that are trained, that you can turn to, who aren't going to constantly bring it up and bring it up and bring it up and dig into it and analyze it all with you and point the blame finger with you, that's not a safe, healthy person to go to. And yet that is most of our society. That is what we naturally do. And that is the unhealthy version of step one, is to go to your mum, to your friends, to your community, to the internet, and start to scream and hate and blame and shame someone for what they did to you. What this does, not only is it actually just stacking all of the things that you're saying about someone else in your own conscious programs as programs and beliefs about yourself, because that's how your unconscious mind works, by the way. Every single thing that you think and say about someone else is actually registered as self-talk. So you're just stacking terrible programs that ruin your self-love and your self-belief. This is why we say the saying, like hate and blame and all of, those negative behaviors against another is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. That is the scientific, neurological reason why we say that thing. And so when we go to any which person or the internet or our whole community, instead of maybe just having a conversation with the person who hurt us so that we can try and resolve it, which is a whole nother video, and we'll get to that. When we go to all these other people and we continue this narrative after the fact, not only do you stack those beliefs about yourself that only hurt you, they don't actually hurt the other person who hurt you, but you create this echo chamber that could come back and activate you at any time. So even if you do go on and you do resolve it and you do heal it and you're having an amazing time in life again, but then you bump into that person that you saw when it was all happening and they go, oh, how you doing about that thing? Oh, that person that hurt you, they were awful, weren't they? And you are back in that energy as if it's happening all over again right now. In some way, shape, or form, this happens so often. And this is why we get stuck in things that happen to us for years or months or weeks, sometimes decades, right? And you never know when that might come back around. And so by creating a safe container, and I call it like a vetted community, like you want to have your inner circle be so sacred that you know that if you do need to vent, if you do need to turn to someone to be like, this thing happened, it was awful, I need to just let out all of the yuckiness that I feel about this person and vent it all out and scream it all out or write it all out or whatever. Can you be on the other end of that for me without trying to fix it or change it or join in or tell me what I should do? Just, can you let me vent it out? And of course, a trusted person who is trained is also going to help you to move into step 2. Other ways to do this are to journal. I call it brain dumping, especially when you're in the thick of a really yucky situation and you are in that animalistic response. As soon as you open your eyes in the morning, because that's usually when the mind's going to go, remember all the things that are wrong right now? That's when you could literally roll over, grab the pen that's right there, the book that's right there, and just start dumping out every single ugly, horrible thought that you have about this other person in your head onto the page. What this does is it moves all of that physically out of your brain and of your nervous system onto a page, onto something external. Then you can get up, you can go outside, you can light it up in a safe place, let it burn. And as it burns, just be like, bye. I'm releasing all of that for today. And I'm going to get to my list of things to do that are improving my life. I'm going to get to my job. I'm going to go and do something for my self-care and really let myself enjoy it because I really let that out of my body for the day. Brain dumping is phenomenal. Of course, if you have a coach, you have a mentorship, a lot of my clients will send me big, long voice notes just so they can let it out somewhere, so they don't let it out on their husband or their kids. So having someone that you can have that exchange with can be so phenomenally powerful because the more you do this, the quicker this works. So how can you create a safe space for you to be in blame of others in a way that doesn't keep you there? Now, step 2, once we have let it out, and this doesn't have a time frame, it could be minutes, it could be days, it could be weeks, it could sometimes be months to really get all of the niggly yuckiness out of you into a safe container where it doesn't go anywhere else. It doesn't hurt anyone else, right? Then we want to move to blame of self. And people take issue with this, of course. Because why would I blame myself? I didn't do it, they did it. And this is a huge narrative if you get stuck in step 1. Yes, you're the victim. You did nothing wrong. You are amazing. And I'm not saying that you're not. But at a certain point, if we want to get to a better life, we have to move through this process. Blame of self, in better words, is introspection, is self-reflection, is taking this pointing figure, being like, these people need to change for me to feel better. Oh, wait, what if I could make myself feel better? And then it doesn't actually even matter what other people do, other people who come into my life just get to be this extra amazing thing, right? Introspection is the most powerful thing, and it's the thing that no one wants to do. That's where coaches come in, because we hold your hand and we help you through it, and we help you get there faster so that you don't have to get stuck in it for ages, and that can be a bit challenging. So introspection is, how did I help co-create what really went down? Did I play a bit of a part in it? Was I a real narky girlfriend, or was I a real bitchy friend? Was I really not good at listening or paying any attention? Was I just allowing bad behavior in my space over and over and over again and just going, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll get better. Gaslighting myself. We always play a part. And here's the thing. This is an area where if you're not doing it with the good tools, this is why I help so many people through this exact process. If you're not doing it with good tools, you can get really down on yourself in step 2. Because when we realize, like, oh my God, I did allow it. Or, you know what? I was a real bitch and I never let him be himself, or I never let him have his space. Or like, I did kind of drive us to this, or like this place where he went nuts, or whatever the context is. When we do start to realize how we have played a part, we can get a little bit down on ourselves. And that sucks. The beauty of this is, though, is that usually whatever we were doing, just like whatever they were doing in the context of the situation, is usually automatic programs that have been learnt in childhood from parents or caregivers. When we're in stress, we usually don't go, okay, how am I going to navigate this situation so that it doesn't hurt me and it doesn't hurt you? And I'm going to take some deep breaths and I'm going to think about how we're going to do this. And the other person's doing the same thing. Of course, that's not happening. That's not happening. When does that happen? Unless you're in like the super conscious communities. And even then, it usually doesn't happen, right? This is new awareness that we're coming into, that we have the blessing to be coming into, that we can consciously choose to show up to stressful situations and challenging conversations in a healthier way. But it takes time. It takes awareness of the automatic behaviors that we drop into when we're in stress to know how we want to change them to improve the situation in the future. So can you look at what happened? Look at maybe what programs you're repeating from what you learned from your parents to do in stressful situations, or situations where you're upset or uncomfortable, or someone's not doing something to be good to you or whatever. There's an automatic program you are dropping into as well. Sometimes it's the good girl. Sometimes it's the angry, pissed off person. Sometimes it's the naive, I don't really know what's happening. Like, there are so many different programs we could be dropping into that are either co-creating the negative thing that happened, or just allowing it to happen over and over again. And therefore the other person just thinks, cool, this is just normal, right? So introspect, self-blame is fabulous. And again, we don't want to stay there, but we want to draw out the wisdom, bring it out of the darkness, out of the unconscious automatic programs within us, bring it into the light so we can go, cool, is that working for me? If I keep doing that in relationships and keep creating these same situations, am I going to be happy with that? Probably not. So what's a different way that I could show up next time? What's a strategy that I could build for myself, or a support system that I could create for myself, so that I don't need so much to be a certain way from this, so that if it's not looking so great, I actually have a support system to lean back on, or someone to talk to and nut it all out, so I can show up to this and behave a more conscious way. And what does this do? This changes the program. This breaks a cycle that has probably been repeated through your life, through your parents' life, through their parents' life, through their parents' life. Like, you are breaking chains that are generations and generations old. So go easy on yourself. Take time with this. Love yourself through the process, because it is so phenomenally powerful, not just for you, but for everyone in your reality, for generations back and generations forward. It takes time. And it can get quicker and quicker and quicker the more you start moving through these steps. And what will naturally happen the more you implement a healthy version of step one. So let's recap. Step one is you're going to blame the other person. Naturally, automatically, you're going to go into that. Create a space so that when you feel that trigger, when you feel that need to attack, when you feel that need to gossip or slander the person or whatever it is, create a strategy. Dump it out onto paper. Don't say it out loud. Turn to a trusted coach or therapist or mentor or someone who is going to hold it with you and help you transmute it into step two. Not to keep you in it and keep you in it and keep you pointing the finger, because that will only lead you to more misery. Only lead you to more misery. This is why talk therapy does not work. Step two is introspection, is looking at how we co-created the situation, allowed it, played a part, did things that led to that point as well, so that we know how to have the wisdom to change it for next time, so that we can come into compassion for ourselves for doing the best we could with the automatic responses that we had in that moment. And eventually, you'll also have compassion for the other person who was doing the best they could with probably pretty awful and traumatizing programs that they were given. Step three is the more we do this, we realize there's nothing to blame. Because what happens when you change your programs? What happens when you practice something that allows you to bounce out of trigger or challenge or hate of someone else or yucky feelings quickly rather than really slowly? You get yourself in a new reality. You get yourself in a new frequency. You start attracting better people who are the same as that. You meet better partners. You build better relationships. You find better friends. You create more success in your life. Because what kind of person is more magnetic, more interesting to be around? They're the ones who have good energy. They're not the ones who are constantly talking about how their ex hurt them 10 years ago. They're not constantly talking about how they were screwed over by this person or that person and how it's ruined their lives. That's not fun. People don't want to pay those people. People don't want to invite those people to all the events. People don't want to hang out with those people and go on holidays with people or just like cuddle with those people on the weekends. Like, no, think about it. When we get to step three, we realize that it's kind of great that people interacted in these pretty crappy program ways with us that led to step one. And then we slogged it sometimes through step two, going, oh God, how did I help create this? How did I play a role in this? How did I allow this? To go, oh, wow, because I realized that, because I didn't create this whole echo chamber of blame in my life and keep all that sticky, yucky energy around me, because I learned how I could show up differently to get a better result from my external world, I now have a better and better and better and better and better reality. How cool is that? How beautiful is it that things went wrong so that I could use them to get everything right? That is how powerful the blame game can be. That is how powerful you can become if you choose to be the alchemist, to transform any painful situations into empowerment, into purpose, and do it for you. You don't have to do it for them. They'll find their own way. They'll be challenged by life and rocked and rolled when their time comes. But this is about you actually getting the life that you want and you deserve by utilizing the hard stuff that happens to build that new program quickly so you can get to enlightenment and all the good stuff that comes with it. If this has landed for you, make sure you drop some love in the comments, reach out for a chat anytime, of course, and I will see you on the next one.